Uh, we are live. Hey everyone. Welcome to today's community meeting. I'm Hayes. You're really glad that you're a regular guy. Um, so to be honest, I don't have like much on the agenda today. But if you have like any discussion you want to bring up to make this meeting long, I'm always up. So I basically just have like I think one or two things on my agenda to talk about. And the first one is actually from the past mentees of the SyncAPI mentorship program. So I keep getting questions that do we get a certificate for the SyncAPI mentorship program? And I was like, I don't know, but I decided to like bring the discussion up today. Yeah, Bukash, I think my question should go to you. Do you think we should have a certificate that mentees can showcase, maybe on their LinkedIn channel? Just like Google Summer of Code?
Who would sign them?
Because
we were talking about like official certificates, or because like we can have some badges. We had some badges anyway invented by Missy, so it's just a matter of extending them and putting the name of the person that completed the mentorship. That's doable. Certificates, it really depends what they want, because certificates, from my perspective, it means already something super serious and official. And certificate for me is something that somebody signs and like with the name and blood. So not like what they really mean by certificates. Maybe it's enough that we produce these nice, basically banners that they can share on social media, like official banners that we create through GitHub and then share with them so they can, like.
I think there was something like Google Summer of Code.
I'm not sure what Google Summer of Code is doing. Or did you get something when
like
you completed?
After, yeah, I did get a certificate.
And
like
after what did it say? Because like honestly, I have no idea what like. So you have to show me something like so I can actually understand what people really need. So because really,
so basically, the certificate, as far as I can remember, the certificate contained the name of the organization I participated in, the project I participated in, official signature from Google, to show like, I
like hand written.
I don't think it's hand, like e-signature, I guess.
Because like legally, I don't know who could sign it. I mean, like now I know that you probably asked me because I'm director, but like it's not the director you can imagine from my company. Like I'm just here to serve people, not really sign papers. And basically my signature has no value. That's what I mean, basically. So that's tricky one. Is signature a must-have?
Well, to me, I don't think it's a must. We have signature.
Because, like I said, like we can, we could work with someone, ask to extend this this official Menti logo with some generated paper where we say like congratulations, like certificate, congratulate for completing the mentorship 2022 and working on this and that project with that mentor. Maybe even we can do it. It's just a matter of like getting some simple design in place that we can generate. The critical part is just the signature. If it's there because people are like, because I guess that people probably want to have signature so it's not fake. But come on, like it's anyone can like fake it. Like faking signature, it's pretty easy, I guess.
So this is way now you already make these like more complicated than I was thinking, because I was like, certificate, of course you can do it. Just put together some stuff and get workers like sign it. But now,
I mean, so I know why people ask for it, and it's pretty cool that they can like publicly not only state that they completed the mentorship, but actually has some sticker, whatever. I know we promised swags, but that's something that is delayed, and we're gonna deliver them. And certificate. Certificate. I mean, we can even have a. We could. So again,
this is what I
okay.
love.
So we basically have to have discussion because we have to involve few people. We could, for example, check with Barbano, and
Okay.
because Barbano, she's the one that is working on the swag store, and we will have like the plan is that the swag store will have a item called Menti package, whatever, that you can like. So the Menti will get a voucher from us, and they can claim the package. So nobody can buy it. It can be only claimed by the voucher. And then the company that has warehouse with the items, they will send it to the Menti. And maybe Barbano can check with this swag company if they could, together with the hoodie, also send a certificate. We would just provide them with the template, and maybe in this swag store we could have additional fields where the Menti would specify the name and the project that they were working on. So that could be done, and then we have this super strong assurance that it's not fake, that people can have such certificate printed out and handed over only if they really completed, because only people that completed got the voucher.
You could also have a link for the issue itself that actually states who have done it.
Yeah, for example. So that can be done, obviously. Like, we didn't promise anything like this for last year, so we would probably have to find out simply just some workaround. But yeah, I mean, let's do it. If Mentis need it, let's do it. Let's do whatever we can for them.
Yeah, so I'm going to like.
But signing is a problem.
Okay.
Just
you just have to do it, man. Like, come on.
We can hire someone to make the signature.
Really? You can hire someone to sign?
There's you have a template and you have to sign like in the template.
Oh my God, I can't believe you're saying this.
I'm pretty sure you know how to code as well, because so.
I never did.
Just an API that can do it.
Okay. So I'm going to start a discussion around this, and let like other people jump on it.
We can also ask ChatGPT. Maybe ChatGPT can sign it for us.
Now I'm panicking. Okay. So the second thing on my agenda is this really interesting stuff that's like has like a lot of questions in it. So I'm going to share my screen. Do we have it? Okay. Sharing my screen.
That's quite a few tabs, huh?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So, is it bold enough, or should I?
Yeah, maybe zoom in a bit then.
Okay. So, as you all know, we are actually trying to like implement a contributors page in the new community section we've been working on. So the whole idea of this contributor section is to have a page dedicated to the async API contributors, which is really nice for me. And so Tuli, the community manager, so has done like a basic analysis of the all contributor stuff and how much they've contributed, how much issues they've opened. And yeah, so this is the result, right? So this is the result. This is not the total results. Like, so we have two results. So I just wanted to like have your inputs and see how it can go. So we have two results.
Can I add
Okay.
a suggestion?
Yeah.
Yeah, so see, there are some projects that we own, right? Like we are the code owners, so we are not necessarily having pull requests or to that. Sometimes we directly push it, some changes, right? So, for example, the problem repository. So I'm maintaining that. So here we should have a column separately for if there is any project which is owned by the particular GitHub handle. We can mention that. For example, Sobic has CLI, Glee. Here is the code owners there. So all this also counts in the contribution, right?
Sorry, you push directly to master?
No, not the master. I'm saying like we have our own separate branch, right? Suppose I have created my own branch, so a B development, and then I create one pull request after having set of changes done. I hope you're getting my point.
Yeah, it's gonna count.
Yeah, that will be counted as one only, right?
Yeah.
But there are a lot of changes, suppose 10 to 15 commits in that branch.
I think it's important to
No.
maybe declare what a contribution is. So generally, I think that the general consensus is that a contribution is a change to master or to the main branch or to some of the sub branches that are public. So that means that your changes are taking effect into the code base, and that's count as one, no matter how many changes you basically do, those count as one. The same with issues, like a new issue is just a new issue. But how many things you do on your local branch and your local fork doesn't count as a contribution. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. As well, thinking towards like we have only these two parameters. For what about like the maintainers who are constantly seeing different things right in the project they maintain, like seeing the number of issues, discussing with the other colleagues.
Yeah, so basically there are contributions like comments, reviews, review comments. These are the things that Abir talks about, like that like you like one thing is that like it's cool that you created a pull request, but this pull request requires a review of several different actors, and that's also a contribution that is super hard to measure. And like, for example, the bounty program we're thinking about, it's that cannot cover it because that's pure maintenance work that is super hard to measure. And the same with issues, like sometimes it's like the issue is created and somebody can be accounted for creation the issue, but then it's there's a discussion involved, a lot of comments, and again, like maintainers and some other contributors also are involved asking questions, you know, like so that's what is missing basically from the list, unless issue status is something different than just issue creation.
Yeah, like, so I basically understand. So if we are going to like factor all these concerns in, then it would be very difficult to measure. And I don't think like GitHub Archive like covers all this stuff.
it must cover it because it's all about its comments, right? It's like GitHub Archive is like it holds all the events basically, as I imagine GitHub Archive. But it's basically every single event that happens on GitHub goes to GitHub Archive.
Mhm.
So it's like there are different types of issues. Then it's a issue. It's like with GitHub Actions. Like you have GitHub Action that reacts on merge, or on pull request create, or review comment create, or comment create. So there are even for sure events that that are recorded that contain information about the comment that was created and author of the comment, not
Yeah.
author of the issue, but of the comment. So this additional stuff should be and in theory is in GitHub Archive, although I don't know if it's there, but should be.
Uh, That's how like we should figure out like different criteria
Okay,
and all.
so we have, sorry, we have Tuli. So I'm no expert in this data stuff. So I'm pretty sure Tuli should be able to give us some insight because she eventually like worked on the whole data stuff. So I have a concern also because when I see issues, right, I was so skeptical about the amount of issues I'm seeing there because I was feeling, okay, this can't be the amount of issues I've opened because to me, I'm not sure if I've opened up to 10 within this time frame, right? So I was thinking maybe it started adding my interaction with other issues as part of contribution.
Yeah, might be that it's already including comment.
But now I have a concern. So let's say, for instance, Jonas open an issue, right? And I just come there and I comment, hey, I'm interested in this issue, and I leave. So it's basically going to count that as contribution. And basically,
No,
I did contribute.
no, it won't be counted as. See, the comments.
Yeah, it will.
Uh,
Like
anyone can do that,
I
right?
can.
We have to have a separate distinction. The comments in the pull request and the comments in the issue. There are two different
But
things.
I don't
Issue
have
one
10.
in the
I
pull
don't have 10
request.
issues. No, I don't have up to 10 issues
No,
open within this
I'm
time
asking.
frame.
So I'm asking that. See, when you comment on the pull request, it might be a review comment or something like around it, right? So there's a bandwidth consumed and there's a ownership involved there. Okay, or the one who is maintaining. But in the normal issues, people drop their ideas and all these things. That's perfectly fine. We are not explicitly saying that okay, comment over here and all this, right? But in pull request we have to that explicit approval before merging it, so there the consumption of bandwidth is there, so we have to count that as a contribution instead of issues. I That's my point of view. I'd like to hear from Lucas as well. What he thinks around it.
But
My whole
comment
my
issue is also a contribution, right? I mean,
yeah,
sometimes it can be just, hey, I want to work on it, and sometimes it can be a pretty extensive comment with that adds much more value. That's
mm,
something you can't like without ChatGPT. You can't easily
we might have to
decide
do a
which one. Sorry.
sentiment analysis over there. Then we might have to do a sentiment analysis of the comment there, whether it's adding a value or not.
Like, but it's
No.
not what sentiment analysis is for, and I would definitely not recommend sentiment analysis because we were trying it already for some time, and it basically sucks because the sentiment analysis doesn't have the context. So sentiment analysis can tell you that short comment is like it will just give you a sentiment, but still it doesn't, it's not able to tell
The importance or the
like
value.
it doesn't know the other, like the rest of the conversation, so still the sentiment is not really of any value.
Okay, let's count the comments then as well. That will be fine.
Yeah,
Nobody is
it's
going to introduce twice, right? It will be only once in a issue. Ace is not going to introduce in multiple issues, right? So that's one thing.
One thing I just want to mention is that this is not exclusively related to async API or open source on this specific problem. Like this is performance related, that any company have problem defining. Like how can you measure performance of a developer, for example? No, because there's things you can't measure. That's the reality. So the important part is that no, even with Jira, it doesn't matter. You have interpersonal stuff, maybe the sideman that you have on your, like if you're sitting next to someone, maybe they contribute by pair programming that isn't seen in a Jira issue. Like there's so many things that you can't take into account. And this is a problem with development in general. So it's not a native problem for this. I just want to mention that maybe someone has figured this out in general that we can take notice of and use as guidance. But I also want to mention that if this is related, was this related to the bounty program stuff as well, right? Or this is completely unrelated? Okay.
No, completely unrelated.
Okay.
It's actually more related to a view that we would like to have in the website in the future, where we have all the contributions, all the contributors.
Gotcha.
But but I agree what you say. Like it's not a new problem that somehow popped up. It's an old issue, how to get numbers to measure contributions. Numbers should never be treated one-to-one, so they're just supporting. And there can be like so from my experience, I can tell you, like Linux Foundation provides us with some basic GitHub stats. And when I was recently, when I was publishing this blog post about the summary of last year, and I used their data in the article, and the diagram was clear that it's showing all the different contributions. So it's not only code; it was explicitly in the don't remember exactly where, but it was written like it's a review comments, it's interactions in the issues. Everything is counted, because it's really hard to say if a comment in the issue it's useless or not. Sometimes even a comment that is like, hey, can I work on it? It might be useful actually, because it pings you jump into the issue as a maintainer, you can revamp. Oh, actually that issue is no longer valid, I'm closing it. And it's still a contribution, like somebody contributed basically by waking you up. Oh shit, there's an issue. So it's still a contribution, I would say. So but yeah, in total numbers, you're gonna see, like, if somebody has this one tiny issue for, hey, I want to work on it, it's just one issue. Like it's fine. And also, like, when you go, even when you go to your profile on GitHub, you can see this. I'm not sure if you have it enabled. You can see this graph that shows shows your code review, contributions, issues, pull requests. So it shows how you really do open source. If you just commit, or you actually collaborate with others.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the same. We should, or the same or similar approach we should take here. Like if you will have only issues and nothing else, so the graph is pretty flat. And if you will generate some spam issues, and like if somebody will try to hack the system and start doing this, I want to work on this in different issues, numbers will just confirm what we will already notice on our own, like, hey, we have some spammer here that wants to just override the system, and probably it will end up with blocking the GitHub user. So I would not worry much about on specific items, but more about what we measure, and we should measure every GitHub activity, but just simply transparently say what number is what. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
What is the most important is that we already see something, that this GitHub archive beast, that is a huge project that huge kudos to Lee that you managed to get the
Oh
beast,
man,
to get
she's
something from the
fantastic.
beast. So yeah,
Thank
we just
you.
we just need to like make it clear where the numbers are coming from, and that's it.
Yeah, it is interesting. And now I think the most interesting aspect of what Tuli did was actually dividing the measures, right? So we have like the way GitHub Archive works. Sorry, according to our explanation, the way GitHub Archive works is because initially we were trying to like get data from 2016 to current, right? So, but we noticed, right? It takes some time for the data to update, and we'll be having like different numbers. So what she eventually did was say, okay, now we're gonna have like overall data, right? And the overall data is going to be coming from 2016 till 2023, right? So from 2016 to 2023, which means we're going to have just data from 2016 till the end of 2022. So that is the overall data. But the current data is going to be coming from 2023, January 2023 to latest, right? You might be wondering why can't we just like have everything together? Okay, but the way GitHub Archive works is when you call data from 2016 to 2023, it doesn't give you the data for 2023. So it only gives you the data from 2016 till the end of 2022. So the yearly column or the yearly query only runs at the end of whatever year you called. So which is why we have like two separate data. So if you're calling from 2016 to 2023, you are only going to get data from 2016 till the end of 2022. So it won't include data from 2023. I don't know why. Tuli, can you shed some light?
Okay. So the data basically is stored into tables, right? So each month we have tables for each month, we have tables for each week, we have tables for each day, and we have tables for each year. So if I write a SQL query that I want data from 2016 to 2023, 16 to 2022, because the only tables the yearly tables that are available is from 2016 to 2022, and 2023 table hasn't been created. So it will be created they will combine each table for each month at the end of the year. So this is why we say for weekly data, they're currently dumping data. And if I say, okay, give me data from 2022 January until present, because the data is dumped each and every day, that's the only data available, but I cannot get data like, okay, give me from year this to year this, because for 2023, the tables haven't been created. I'm not sure if I explained it correctly.
But you're saying that there is table for January 2023 and February 2023.
Yes, but it's not under the yearly data, but it's only under the month data.
Okay, but what blocks us from using the other tables? Like, can't we just say, okay, so we grab total from 2016 to 2022, and then in case of latest, so 2023 in this case, we grab it monthly, like monthly.
So like currently we have archived data from 2016 until the end of 2022, right? So we got the data like the pull requests, the issues that a person has owned. Then since we don't have data included from this year, we are querying like from January until present. So this script we are running like every week because of BigQuery also has limits. I'm using the free version on how much you run. And also to query data from GitHub Archive, you either have to query by date, by month, or by year. So those are the three methods to query data from GitHub Archive. So if I am to query data from 2016 from this month until 2016 this year, or from this year 2016 until the year 2022, I will get my. Then if I'm to query from a month, like maybe we'll say from 2023, from month January until present, I will get my data. If I am to query like, okay, for instance, the beginning of February, on the 1st of February until the end of February, I will get my data. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it correctly.
I think what Wukash is asking is if it is possible for us like have this, I think sort of a merge, right? So we have all the data from 2016 to 2022, right?
Mhm.
Then we merge it with the results we get from 2023 to current. Then we sort of like, merge it together as one.
Yes, we can merge it together, but now since we are updating the data frequently, how are you going to do that?
Oh,
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The data is being updated frequently. This is why we have two separate tables. One that is current, like the one that we're currently running like every week, and the table that we already have that is full from 2016 to 2022. Since the one for 2023, we are currently updating it like every week, and GitHub is currently dumping it every hour or every day, I suppose. So this is why we have like two separate tables.
What do you think? Because you're the idea person here.
Yeah, I'm afraid to admit I'm not 100% sure. So we have data which is static from 2016 to 2020. Excuse me. From 2016 to 2022. And then we have data from 2023 that is not static because every single day it's refreshed. And we fetch it weekly and dump it to BigQuery, right? That's what I.
We are running the script on BigQuery. Then I'm exporting the data to Excel. This is what you are currently seeing here.
So I think because it is not possible for her to like run these two data or these two requests simultaneously together, right? So I think there's one query. I'm no expert. I'm just like saying. So I think let's say there's one tab. So this particular tab only queries the data from 2016 to 2022. So in that tab, I'm not sure if it is possible to also like run the query that like generates data from 2023 to current. You have to like do that on a separate tab or something. Oh, Tuli, am I right?
Scripts. So one for the static data and one for reoccurring data. So the one from 2016 until 2022 is a separate script. And these own tables are separate. Then the one that we are running like weekly.
Sorry?
It has its own.
Tuli, I think you're breaking.
Am I
I think
back?
she's having. Yeah, you're back.
Did I stop?
Yeah, you
Where
were
did I
explaining
miss?
the scripts.
Yeah. So last thing we heard was that there are two different tabs, basically, like one for the static and one for the latest.
Yes, one for the reoccurring data. Yes.
But like technically, we can merge it if we want.
Yes, technically you can merge the tables. Like if you have the current data for this week, you can merge it to the old data.
Yeah, and that is what we'll be doing. Like, because I'll be fetching the data from the Excel stuff, right, and converting it to JSON. So then from there, doing the conversion, I'm going to like merge these two data together to like get the latest stuff. But now here's the food for thought, right? Because according to the discussion I was having with Tuli, if we follow this approach, right? We folks like Wukash, Jonas, Fran, Machik, me, eventually, are gonna always be the people at the top of the list.
Yes, thank you for pointing out that you because there are people who contributed like in the middle, let's say 2018 for instance, or maybe people who have contributed this year. I mean, like Lucas is like how many?
He's a
I think
boss.
over 1,000 ish. Yeah, you are the boss, like literally.
You're gonna
You are
sleep
on
there,
top.
like you're not coming down.
Jonas and Magic and Fran. Fran, I think is on round number 6, 7. So you understand, it's only you guys on the top. Then what about the other contributors who just started out? So that was my other concern as well. Like you guys, you are the legends of the legends. I mean, it would take us not even years.
It is
because
spotlight, man.
Each and every day you're opening pull requests, and yeah.
That's called spamming like a pro. But can't we like? But you're talking about total, right? In total, it's huge. But shouldn't we just enable, basic I'm not sure if we should call it filtering, but enable people to see, okay, who was in 2026, 27, like to check basically. Shit, how to name it? Like specify a date. Hey, I want to see who was top contributor in 2019. So just you know what I mean. So we basically generate a lot of different tables. So we have table per maybe even week, per month, per year. Then we merge them into also a total all time. So we have like so like the main contributor view is all time, right? Because like, I mean, why not? Even though I'm on the top, which I'm happy about, but it's like
shut up.
But we're showing all time. But if somebody wants to see 2018, that's so completely fine. I mean, like, is there some limit? We can't do it, or like, or you just don't like me and don't want to see me there?
Okay, Lucas. So if I understand correctly, right? So we can have like data from 2016 as per month. Like, okay, from November, who was a top contributor, December, January, blah, 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 until present. Then we have a table like for overall a year, like top contributor from 2016 per month. Then top contributor for 2016 a year. Then is this how you explain it, right?
Yeah. Like, so we have several different like granularity of the information is on different levels, like week, month, year, and then total, and then in the end it's Excel, so we can put it into CSV and then put it into like read it in the website and do whatever we want with the data, merge it, show it, different graphs, whatever views. But like basically have different data, like not sure how else I can. So it's
so I have a question. So like according to what you like your idea, Mukesh, so the question is like, if I'm trying to like get you right, that is a lot of query to run.
I can reuse the script, but there are limitations. I cannot get data from day or weekly, especially if it's data for the old data. The only data that I can get is like month and year. Those are the two tables that I can get like for previous years. Then
would it not be possible to store it all just in a simple static JSON file? Do we even need like to run the script again? Because if you first like, can't you filter it afterwards, like post-processing?
You mean the past data?
The past data.
Yes. Or even
Yeah.
just the current, because when you fetch the current data, you can still post-process, filter out specific users or specific dates or etc. Shouldn't the website be able to do that on its own?
Okay.
Yeah,
Another
I
thing
think
that we need
it is based on the sorry, Tuli. I think it is based on the kind of data we get back. It does like includes properties like days, months, and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is
It's like-
is it possible, Tuli?
Okay, like I explained, the only 3 queries that you can make is only day, a period of this day until this day, then a period monthly, then yearly. Those are the 3 GitHub
Yeah.
archive.
So during the build phase of Marlene or website, so when you build the website, wouldn't it be possible for the build script to pull down all the data if it hasn't already and store it in a JSON file, a list basically locally? And then once the UI needs to access it and filter it or whatever, you don't need to make any queries to the GitHub API. You actually have it. It's only relevant when you're doing for the current inbound year, right? As far as I understand. Or something when you
Okay.
haven't fetched it before.
Okay, so one thing, to be really honest, the data is large. GitHub data has a bunch, like for example, this weekly data is like 138 gigs already to query this
Ooh.
data that you are seeing here, right here. So I cannot fetch like the past data. The only thing that it does is to fetch like in tables. So I have to query like on BigQuery because they are the ones storing the whole data. So it's easier for me like to add the dates or add the months that I want for async API, then export this data to an Excel file or a JSON. But also, there is a limit to this. It only queries, I think it's 1 gig ACE. I'm not sure. I explained this also to you. There's a certain amount of data that you can get. Excel, from if you're exporting data, it only gives you 1 gig of data. Because also I'm using a free version. I'm not using a paid version. And even if we were to run like a daily, okay, like give me from 2016 on this particular day, and then store it into tables, we need also, I have also limits. I can only use a certain amount of gigs of querying data on BigQuery. And after that, I need to pay, of which is really a lot. So those are some of the limitations that we need to consider, especially if we're going with that approach. So this is why I was also saying that it's either we can query monthly data and store it into tables. At least monthly data doesn't consume a lot of bytes. Then we can have yearly data overall, like from the whole 2016. These are the top. So like from 2017, January, this was the top contributor, February, those tables I can do. But if we are now saying like every week or every day, that's another different story that we need to consider as well. I'm not sure if that explains it.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, we don't have to have everything that with the first iteration. Even having this monthly, that would that's already a huge thing. And in case of all the data, in the end, we just have to run query only once, right? So for the data 2016, 2022, we don't have to run it every time, every week, again, the same query, because we just want to run it manually once, store it, and reuse it. If we for this year, we can also manually run it for past months, So we would only really do the monthly or even daily runs starting from some specific date. So on the cost level, then I guess it should not be a bigger problem, right?
Mhm. Yes.
So
that's right.
I'm trying to like understand what we're going to have in the UI, right? So we have this list of data, we have this filter drop down, which says say contributors, 2016 contributors, right? So we click on 2016 and we get data for 2016, right? So we don't have to like filter by month for 2016. We just get data for 2016. Then we can only filter by month if the year is 2023 or if the year is latest. Like if the year equals to the
Yes.
current year we have,
I
then
think
we
we
can
can
say,
do
okay,
that.
filter by month.
Yes, we can do that. Like for instance, right? Instead of running this script, run it monthly, like from the 1st of March until the end of March, then we get, okay, who are the top contributors? Or we can run it daily, because what I remember is if we're running it by month, it's not a lot of it's not a lot of bytes that get consumed, and it's not a lot of data that gets exported. So yeah, we can do that for like present data. There's not much. But if it is past data, that's a different story.
Okay, now I have a question, which means
Mhm.
how do you turn on rendering this data, right? For me, like okay, of course, you're gonna like pass it to an Excel file, but now, okay, are you gonna do like run 2016, pass it to an Excel file? So we just have like an Excel file for 2016, we have an Excel file for 2017, we have an Excel file for 2018.
Mhm.
Like,
Okay,
so
so
is
what
there
I'm going
not
to
a better
do,
way? Like
actually,
that would
there's
be a lot
no
of
better
files.
way. Welcome to data science. This is what data
Oof.
is all about. I will create tables for you. You will get data, a full table for 2016, 17, 18 until 2022. Then for 2022, you will get monthly data for January, February, March. Is that
You mean
how we
2023?
should? Yes, for 2023, you will now get like for you. No, since we are still in 20,
We are in
yeah.
2023.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. We can't have a table for 2023 as yet, but you will get like for months. We have
Oh,
for
yeah,
January,
okay.
we have for February, we have for March. Then by the end of the year, we'll tally everything together and you get your table for 2023. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, for me,
And
okay.
and in case of costs, to understand again, it's the query that costs, not the data that you expose,
Yes. Export.
export. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it's the query that costs, because mind you, GitHub is going through a bunch of repositories, a bunch of data from different organizations. So yeah, it's the query that costs, but the data to export it, no, it doesn't cost much, as long it's not like a gigantic data set or legacy.
So in theory, like we don't, so your, because I assume that your query is already doing the aggregation of the results, like counting already the issues per.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can we, for example, don't do it and just have raw data? Like, so basically, in case, let's say Jonas or actually Ace had this 10 issues weekly. So instead
Mhm.
of table with Ace 10, we get actually 10 rows with A's and date of the contribution and link to the comment. And then we on our own just have a code that aggregates it. You know what I mean? Like more raw data than that we can operate on.
I don't
I'm
understand.
not
Can you
sure I
explain better?
understand. Can
So
you?
like, so now when you showed this table, there was Ace and issue stats wherever 10. So
Mhm.
instead of Ace 10, can we get an Excel or whatever table, basically a table where instead of A's 10, we have 10 times A's mentioned. And there's a there's another column saying it's issue stat. It's a link to the issue comment, the date when it was created. So from that data, we just have our JS, whatever code that aggregates 10 aces into one ace and provides number 10. You know what I mean? So we don't get this
Okay.
aggregated data, but we get actually more granular data exported. So we can access them, because like later for the UI, I bet people will say, okay, you say you have 50 issues. Yeah, I want to check what actually 50 issues you have. And we will say, sorry, we just have the number. We don't have links. You know what I mean?
But isn't
Okay.
that going to just extend the size of the file? Like you said, there is a limit.
I don't know. Like
So
Yes, there is a limit. And also the way you like get a link to the particular issue that ACE has opened or ACE has contributed, right? Is that what you're saying?
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, I'm not sure how to do that, because please remind, like I explained to Ace, there's no
there's no documentation.
documentation. I'm using I don't know which documentation. There's no documentation on how to do this, because the only thing that GitHub is listed, the rest I had to figure it out on my own. Honestly, the only thing that I remember was like you can only query by day, by month, and by year, and I had to figure out the rest on my own. So links, the only links that I remember that I can get is like the links to the profile, to the actor profile, not to the issue. Then I will need to like find out if it is possible, like to get the particular issue that we are counting.
So I suggest I'll make sure that Linux Foundation also invites you to the dashboards that we have access to.
Okay.
Because they're doing something similar that you're doing, I bet. And I'm pretty 100% sure that they're using GitHub Archive, because what else would they use? So you'll be able to see what they have access to. And
Okay.
I'll share with you their forum, because they have pretty cool people working there, super responsive.
Mhm.
So maybe they will be able to help you, like to guide you, like what's the best way, like how they solve, because they were solving it for all the Linux Foundation projects, doing
Okay.
different dashboards, etc. So maybe they have some answers. Also, there's this Chaos project from Linux Foundation that is like
Mhm.
fully focused on metrics of open source contributions. So maybe they also have someone who can help out to somehow get access to it. Or maybe even GitHub, maybe even Linux Foundation can give us access to their raw data as well. But yeah, there's a lot of maybe. So I'll contact you after the call and make sure that you have all the accesses and access also to people that can help.
Okay. All right.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think that's at least if we have more data to like work with, then we should be able to like provide more information instead of just like putting the whole stuff we have out there. So makes sense. I really hope you get it figured out. So should I wait till you do that, or it should be something we can like add as like later on? Like if we can get this current one, like we all discussed, like based on year. Do you can you hear me?
Like you mean
No,
you want to just go ahead with implementation, or what do you mean?
no, like with this new because now I have to like start working on the first iteration, right? So I was thinking if I can like just like implement the current routes we decided, which is like having the data for year like 2016, then 2017 till 2022, then have data for 2023 till current. If you can like implement that, then I could, because I was also like what I want to do is work on the first iteration and be able to like other contributors contribute to it. Because if I just implement the stuff, then they're not gonna have a chance to like improve it themselves.
Yeah, but the problem is you can't really work on even first iteration because we don't like whatever we have. It's like so Tuli is using some free big Jesus, like I don't remember the name that stores the data and we can query through it. We
BigQuery?
just BigQuery, yeah. So we're using some free versions. So we even here we have to answer a question like long term how we want to proceed because it's gonna bring some costs. We have to like basically there are so many questions even related to this. Like how do we do it long term? How do we assure we can actually cover that costs? That's blocking you anyway. Because whatever you're gonna work on, you're gonna publish, and then what? Like if we say we can't cover costs because it's way too expensive, like what are we gonna
Gonna
do?
be so furious.
Mhm.
Take down the page? So yeah, I mean, I see you're super excited about first implementation, but yeah, it's don't like. Sorry, you have to wait a bit anyway.
Yeah, it is true because like for
Yeah,
long term, we need to also figure out like querying. It need to figure out storage as well because we cannot be exporting to Excel all the time. So we need to also figure out storage as well, like a viable place where we can store, like for instance, in BigQuery Cloud. Then you can query data directly from BigQuery Cloud until to the website. So that's another thing to also figure out as well. So it's not a walk in the park as yet. And I mean,
yeah,
like,
and
who wants to manually do it? Like, okay, export. Like, we need to
you.
also think long term.
Every morning.
I don't mind. I'll just give you the script and say, okay, guys, deal with it. Bye.
Yeah, and also like the whole concern, like we have like have a discussion around because USB brought up something interesting. Oh, sorry, we're running up this meeting now. But before we round up, you brought up something concerning like assigning badges and stuff, right? And so we need to also like discuss which contributor get which badges, like what criteria are we using to measure what badges someone gets.
Sorry to bother you, but like I have to escape the meeting.
Yeah, so I'm ending the meeting anyways. So we'll continue discussing that in the next meeting anyways. Yeah, so can you imagine? I thought we're gonna have a short meeting.
Yeah, that always happens.
Okay. Thanks for doing this call. Catch you guys later in the next community meeting.
See you,
Have fun. Bye.
All right. Bye.